Senator Rand Paul on Face the Nation discussed clawing back federal funds. We're going to play the video. Y'all already know how I feel about it. I think everything needs to be cut. Just go in, cut all this nonsense like Elon Musk and President Trump is doing. I'm all for it. So we're going to play the clip. We're going to talk about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account. All right, so let's get into this news. Again, this comes from the Gateway Pundit, and they report that Senator Rand Paul was on CBS Face the Nation with host Margaret Brennan on Sunday to discuss topics including clawing back federal funds. So let's just get right to this clip here. Here we go.
I've seen it reported that you have pitched to Elon Musk a plan to claw back $500 billion in federal funding that Congress has already approved. There was an effort back in 2018 to do something like this, and it failed. Do you think you can actually get this done in a rescission package, and how much money do you think you can get back?
Well, this goes to another huge legal question. Can the president impound money, or does he have to send it back and we approve the cuts through rescission? And this is going all the way to the Supreme Court also, because I think the Trump administration believes they can just not spend it. There's another question within the question: can the president and his people, can Secretary Rubio pause the spending? On that issue, I think they will win. You will be able to pause spending as long as you don't go through the end of an appropriations year. If you get through that, I believe it's impoundment, and I think the courts so far have said it has to come back, unless, as the Trump administration argues, that the Impoundment Act is unconstitutional. So this one's headed to the Supreme Court also. It is my personal belief we should adhere to the law as it is now, and that is send it back and have Congress confirm it. It's a simple majority vote. It's called rescission. I did mention this to Elon Musk. He seemed enthusiastic. It can be done. No Democrats, you have to realize, no Democrats will cut one penny from any spending anywhere. But can we get all the Republicans is a real question.
You can get 51 Republicans.
Great point. Democrats don't want to cut anything. I don't understand. Like, why would you want to continue to just waste our money, just throw away our money, especially when you got the majority of American people backing this cut?
Do you think to get on board with this?
Well, I think the president is going to have to use effectively his bully pulpit and his popularity to convince all Republicans to do it. It's not a given that Republicans will vote for this. We tried it once in the first administration. It was only $15 billion, and we lost. We lost two Republicans. But my suggestion to the Trump administration is come to the Republicans who you suspect might have misgivings and convince them in advance. Don't put it in their lap. Bring them $500 billion, and if they say this $10 billion I can't deal with, I can deal with the $490, you're going to have to pre-negotiate the rescissions package. But I think you could get there.
So there you have it. There, have to go and convince the Republicans. What Republicans, I want to know, don't want to cut spending? They need to go. Any one of those that don't want to cut spending need to go. But Senator Rand Paul was asked about funds and how they will be handled now that the Department of Education is in the process of being eliminated. So let's get to that clip here. And y'all already know how I feel about the Department of Education. I definitely agree with getting rid of the Department of Education, because they have done absolutely nothing to help the American children. They're even dumber than before they came in 1979. So, but here we go. I digress. Let's get to this clip. Here we go.
When we looked at the budget in Kentucky, the state receives $2 billion in federal education funding. Do you have a guarantee that the federal government, federal taxpayers will still provide $2 billion in education funding? That seems important to your state.
I'd rather, what I'd rather is a guarantee that my kids can read and write and do math. The amount of dollars, look, the number of dollars has gone up exponentially, and our scores have gone the other way. So dollars are not proportional to educational success. What I want is success. And I've talked a lot about this. I think there are innovations we can do where there's more learning via some of the best teachers, and we pay them more. I would like to have an NBA or NFL of teachers, the most extraordinary teachers, teach the entire country.
Who
if
would
not
run that? The
entire
education
world. And
department?
some of them, no, what you'd find is they'd be selected out state by state, across the nation. Look, people say, oh, with the Department of Education would have no testing. I was in school before then. We did achievement tests in the sixth grade, the fifth grade, the eighth grade, and we compared ourselves across state lines. There were international testing.
Yeah.
You don't need the Department of Education for any of that. But what I can tell you is the best teacher in the world is not teaching the kids.
Yeah.
What we need to do is have the best teachers and pay them more, but they wouldn't teach 30 kids. They might teach 10 million kids at a time because it would be presented through the internet with local teachers reinforcing the lessons.
Love it. I love it. I'm all for it. I think those are wonderful, wonderful takes. Get it out. Get the federal government out of education. Allow our brightest, best teachers to teach, and we can use the internet to do that. I mean, most of the kids get their information online anyway, so why not have the best teachers teach that stuff, and then you can have like smaller teachers going in and making sure that the assignments are getting done, and they're checking out, they're actually watching these great teachers discussions and things like that. That's the way to pull up that's the way to pull up these test scores, I believe. I love that idea. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.